Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back to iAllegedly. And I've got a good one for you today because we have a very, very serious banking problem right now that they're really not talking about. In fact, when you add all this stuff up, it leads to real problems. So please hit the like button. Please subscribe to this channel. We have a sponsor today, Patriot Gold, which I will talk about in a bit, but let's get right into it. You know, when you go to the bank and you make a deposit, we think that our cash is sitting there, and it's really not. They use fractional banking, which I've discussed many times in the past, and that is the fact that they can take your $100 that you deposited in the bank and lend it out basically over and over and over again. And basically, back in the day, they used to keep your money in the bank, and then they lowered it to 90%, 80%, 50, 30, 10. Now it's basically a smidgen of what we deposit in the bank. What we put in is not sitting there. And the cash that banks are holding right now is dwindling. And when you sit there and you say, wait a second, Dan, I put my paycheck in there, I run my business through this place. We all talk about this stuff and we all, think that our banks should be safe. Well, think about this number because this is wild when you think about this. U.S. bank reserves fell to a 4-year low right now of $2.8 trillion. Now you can go, Dan, it's $1 trillion. That's so much money. 4 years ago, it was 3.3 trillion, and the trajectory was up. Now there's less money in the banking system. Now, you can sit there and say, well, how does it affect me? My bank's fine. No. This is where you got to add all this stuff up. During the last crash, people went out and thought, well, how can we borrow money and not do it through a traditional lender? There is something called shadow banking. And whether you or I take part in this, big companies do. And they borrow it from different hedge funds and different companies that you and I hate, like BlackRock and places like that we hear all these horrible things about. But they lend each other money. And these companies do this. Now, what you're seeing right now, for the first time since the crash of 2008 and the Great Recession, is that you're seeing these private lenders that lend each other money fail. Now, think about this. I'm going to make it really, really simple. Let's say you got some money and you go, I'm going to lend some money to my idiot nephew, and I'm going to give him $10,000 to start, that cookie store he wanted to. You give him 10 grand. Your neighbor says, well, John, lend me 10 grand. You lend him 10 grand. You lend your cousin, blah, 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 blah. Everybody $10,000 each. Then all of a sudden your idiot nephew never gets the business started and defaults on his commitment to you to pay you back. And so does your neighbor, so does your cousin, so does everybody, to the point that this is affecting John financially. Gosh, I can't make my own mortgage payment because I lent $100,000 out to people. That's what's happening with these big companies right now. There was a multi-billion-dollar case that just went down. First Brands. Notice they didn't say the biggest hit. Now, JP Morgan took a several $100 million hit. That was big. Some of these other places took a several $100 million hit, but the majority of the money that was lent out for this First Brands, that was the auto company that went bankrupt, the auto parts company, was through shadow banking, through different friends' companies, and then they stiffed these guys. Uh-oh. Wow. Now, take it one step further to the auto companies. Remember we talked about the auto lenders, like Tricolor and Primalend, that went out and defaulted. Well, these were hard money lenders. Where did they get the majority of that money? Yes, they got it from JP Morgan and Solomon Brothers and Goldman and different places like that, but the majority of it came from shadow banking. And there is trillions of dollars out there with this shadow banking that they are getting stiffed on right now. And they're calling these loans in and they're calling these companies in because you're not paying your bills on time. You're not, the lending that these people did was so insane. When you hear about the fact that they were lending to people that didn't have a permanent address, let's start with that, weren't from this country, didn't have a regular job with a regular paycheck. Well, don't worry, you can send us cash. You can go buy a money order and you can send to us. They made auto loans like that. And well, gosh, Dan, people like that, I think a lot of them don't pay their bills. No kidding, guys. And when the economy was good, people pay their bills. When it goes bad, who are you going to not pay? Your lender. So that's what we're experiencing right now. So this could be a global depression problem, and it could stem from this shadow banking. I have great articles below on all of this, but it's getting to a point that people don't realize the number of people. We always hear about conventional lenders, and the auto industry is going to be the thing that's going to start the huge crash that's coming up right now. That's where it's going to start. But Dan, well, what banks are going to go down? It's not going to be a bank. It's going to be major corporations that are going to take the hit. Now, there are people out there that are laughing right now, going, "Oh, this is so great! Oh my God, wouldn't it be great if BlackRock went out of business? Largest, assets in the world. They're not going anywhere, guys. They're going to have hiccups, and their smaller companies and smaller entities and the LLCs that these companies own, you're going to see companies go out of business. But what's going to happen is the layoff festival that just was discussed in the last video is going to get worse and worse and worse. Seriously, let me ask you a question, because this is what I ask people. What do you do if you lose your job? What do you do if this company that you're just starting doesn't work out? What are you going to do? And so many people, I tell them, don't quit your job until this thing works out. Well, I want to go 100% into it. You can't, put one foot in the water and call yourself a swimmer. I've heard everything in the world. But if it doesn't work out, could you go get a corporate job again? Oh, Randy's the smartest guy in the world. He can get a job anywhere. He's so great. Okay. Okay. Good luck with that, brother. You're going to see craziness right now. And shadow banking is a problem. There's much more to discuss about this, but you haven't seen anything yet, because when you don't pay, your idiot nephew doesn't pay you back and your neighbor stiffs you, and it all adds up to where, oh my gosh, Marge, I lent out $100,000 and we're getting none of it back. That's going to affect you personally. So that's what's happening to these companies right now. And you're seeing an economic downturn from shipping, from purchasing, to where pizza places are going out of business. It is crazy. Then add in things like travel and all the problems with this. I mean, I am absolutely blown away at the number of people that are going out of business right now. It's mind boggling. Let me know what you think so far. There's a lot more to cover. Let's talk about our sponsor, Patriot Gold Group. Patriot Gold Group has been #1 rated for over 9 years in a row. I have been talking about them for 3 years. I have been talking about gold and silver with you guys since gold was at $1,800 an ounce. It's well over doubled right now, and you need to only deal with #1 rated Patriot Gold Group. Call them today, guys. Protect yourself. Many people are saying that we're living in a stock market bubble right now, and you want to protect yourself and you want to protect your family. The best way to do that is contact Patriot Gold Group. 888-330-1431 is their phone number. #1 rated for so many reasons. They've got thousands of 5-star reviews. But again, guys, deal with a company that people are happy with. Sales are good. They have well over 10,000 clients. They have over $1 billion in sales because they're doing something right. Contact them today. Let them know that Dan from iAllegedly sent you. If you don't want to call, use the link below and get a free investor guide. Let them answer all your questions today. But do it now. Do it now before it's too late, guys. Look at the little turtle floating on the branch of the palm tree. Now, there's a little bit more to the banking nightmare right now, and that is Chase Bank has service charges on certain accounts that are $30 a month. That's a lot of money, guys. It really is. Just to park yourself and for getting your bank statement, $30. Well, I've got bad news. They're raising it to $40 right now. That is insane, guys. And again, the world's largest bank, $40 a piece. If they did this on every account, they would make billions of dollars a month. It would be insane. And yes, there are free checking accounts, but the free checking accounts they've talked about having a $12 fee, which would be, they say $12 to $15 fee. So, it's going to be 15, but that would generate them at least, with 87 million accounts. How many people, how much money is that a month? Do the math on that. That's crazy. Now, the next thing is there's a bunch of car issues right now that are fabulous right now. The Toyota Mirai is that car that it runs on hydrogen. And they have got lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. But there's a story below talking about how they hid the fact of how dangerous these cars were and how hydrogen, Hindenburg, guys, okay? Hydrogen. Anyways, they hid the fact how dangerous this was, and they called it running a crime family because they hid how bad these cars, how unsafe these cars were, how expensive these cars were. I did a video earlier this year where you could basically get one of these cars for basically, a couple $1,000s down, but it's the hydrogen. It's filling it up that costs a bloody fortune on these cars. And you haven't seen anything yet, guys, because this is getting worse. Ford dealership, guy brought his car in for service and had a guy take a joyride in the car. And I went out and I was like, imagine how furious, I was going to use another word, imagine how angry you would be if you sat there and had your GPS in your car and you're watching it be driven around the block and to the local fast food places and everything, and they're supposed to be doing service on it. Well, we're just test driving it right now. No, the guy, it was complete nonsense. So, use GPS to track his the Ford dealership employee driving his SUV on unauthorized trips. I love that. There was a great story where there is a thing called Car Week in Monterey, and I have never been there for that. I've missed it a couple times where it's like either I was there before the event or after the event, but man, it just gets thousands of people and thousands of car people out there. And lately there was a McLaren event that was ran, and again, every single city has problems with Airbnbs. They have restrictions on events. Monterey is one of those beautiful coastal towns where they don't want you to have an event like this. McLaren hid it from a property owner. Hey, listen, hey, the city seemed pretty mad when they were out. Yeah, don't worry about it. We got it resolved. They had a week-long event there. Think about this. The homeowner, read the article below, got fined $767,000 for the event. That was what the total was. And McLaren just kept saying, no, I don't know what you're talking about. It's not a big deal. We're going to get this resolved. I don't know why everybody's so angry about this, okay? Well, they were angry about this because of the fact that, they lied to the woman and just kept blowing her off. And then at the end, they damaged the property. They infuriated the city. Keep going, guys. Keep going. Now, there is a great website here in the city, in the Orange County area, where you can get your unclaimed funds. Orange County OC Unclaimed Funds, ocunclaimed.gov. What they did was, we've talked a lot about this. Do not pay for grants. Do not pay for unclaimed funds. Okay, you can go to your state, unclaimed.org, go to your state, and you can put your name in, put your wife's name in, city, pertinent, some information, and you can get, find out if they have any money. Now, I've done this. I got my check in 3 weeks. They wanted me to send a copy of a driver's license, and that was it, guys. It was very, very simple. I've had people furious about this. Oh, why would they want to know that it's me? Well, are you kidding? How much is it? Well, it's $680. Well, that's not worth giving up your ID for? Okay, paranoid. But ocunclaimed.gov is a website in this county where they've gotten thousands of different items, whether it was refund checks, deposit checks, you filled out an application for something, you got a building permit and it didn't go through. Well, they send that there, but Orange County had so many of these claims, they did it on their own. I am telling you, go out and search your name. Go out and search your family member's name. It's great. I had a guy do this. He got $8,000 back and thanked me profusely. I did this the first time 4 years ago on this site, on this channel, excuse me, I try not to avoid walking into something. Um, but again, people have gotten a lot of money from it. Do yourself a favor and go search unclaimed.org. Don't pay for this stuff. I just had a man write me out of New York, suffer in New York, and said, listen, I can't find anything for grants in my county. Start with your city and search your own city. Start with the county you're in, start with the state that you're in. State of New York wants to encourage business use. Now that they're adding a communist to run New York City, they want to spur business. So trust me, they don't want you to leave and they want to give you money. So do yourself a favor and just start searching county by county by county that you live in and see what they have. But again, be specific. You want to start a business, you will have an existing business. Know what you do, have all your pertinent information out, and be ready to give it to them. Answer questions, and you can get grant money. I've done this and helped, hundreds and hundreds of people get grants. I really have. And you should too. But check out the unclaimed sites, unclaimed.org. Okay? Check it out today. Now I'm going to finish this video with these last couple things. But I want to also remind you that we have our new site, newvideos.com. And you want to sign up, get your name, post your videos, advertise your business for absolutely free. Check it out today. And if you'd like to go to our private channel, which is uncensored, talking about everything that we can't talk about other places, check it out today. That is iAllegedly Live. Now, I love, my audience, and Don and Laura and Dr. Marvin and Aaron, broker Aaron, all these great people that send me stuff that is unbelievable. But one thing that hit me recently is I got a Wolf Street article sent to me about the commercial real estate problem and how bad it's getting. This goes to the banking problem. This goes to the private sector problem because these shadow banking stats also go to private lending. Hey, listen, yeah, we'll let you stay in our building. You're going to have a lease like this, and you won't check credit. You won't do a traditional lease. The problem with it is commercial mortgage-backed securities right now, CMBS, are having a default rate right now of 12%. It is insane. It is absolutely out of control, and this is because businesses cannot afford to maintain themselves and operate. Okay, so every sector of commercial real estate, whether it's office buildings, whether it's large warehouses, commercial space is taking a hit right now. Now, there's certain areas that are doing well, like warehousing for data centers and things like that are on an uptick. But overall, when you have places that are above 10% default rates and vacancies and all this stuff, it is killing this industry. It's because business is so bad. And the final thing, think about this. In the month of October, there were 493 airline flights that were canceled. And it was everybody. It was Spirit Airlines, it was Delta, it was big and small, American, everything. And you had 493 flights canceled. You had 5,849 flights delayed during this time. Guys, that's a huge amount during this time. Now, I myself have a business trip this week and I was going to fly, and I'm like, I'm not going to risk it. I'm not going to risk it. I'm just going to go and I'll drive. Now, the beauty of this is that when I do these trips like this, people know I've got 4 hours in the car. Ooh, wow. Hey, I really want to talk to you about this. So use time like that to connect with people, answer questions, things like that, because that's what I do. Okay? Remember, there is a problem with the world when it comes to finances right now. You can ignore it. You can call me Mr. Doom and Gloom. But when you add up sectors like commercial real estate, shadow banking, that's stiffing people, and the fact that the banks have less money right now, there is impending doom that's coming our way. So get ready, protect yourself, stock up on food, make sure that you have a savings account set aside so that you can get by, pay off debt, live a nice, clean, happy life, get some exercise, and don't do anything bad to your body. Okay? make good choices, and I'll see you soon. Okay? If you want to get a hold of me, it's hello@iAllegedly.com, and I hope you guys enjoyed this.